Welcome everyone. This is the 61st episode of Purposely, and that's pretty exciting. And we have a returning guest, Nathaniel, Bibby. Welcome.
I'm back.
You're back, baby. You're back.
Thanks for having me.
No problems. So yeah, you were one of my first guests. I think you were in the first
Really?
10 people that I had on the show, and I thought it would be a good time to regroup and revisit our thinking and what we know about LinkedIn, because we had a very bizarre year last year, 2020, the year that changed a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people are curious about, has LinkedIn changed post-pandemic, and what do people need to know? What's all the new latest goss on LinkedIn and how people can use it for business, for their own personal brand, and how to make sales, which is a lot.
Well, you're in Tasmania now, so have they been in lockdown much at all, or not?
Not at all. Coronavirus doesn't exist down here, so it's really
the Tassie people in Tasmania, they heard the virus is going around, but
pretty much. Yeah. I think that they had about 60 cases in total.
Yeah. Wow. That's
awesome. I mean, they are an island. They're a small island, so when it all happens, I mean, the borders are
you're in the best place, yeah.
At the moment, every time I go to book a trip home to see my family, there's a lockdown. So I think that I should not book a trip home because I'm obviously causing the lockdowns. But I'm hoping to bring my son for the school holidays. But yeah, it's very different down here. First of all, what I found was there's not that many people on LinkedIn in Tassie.
Come on, Tasmania. What the hell? Jesus.
I know. So one of the things that I first did when I got down here was to try to connect with people in my local community in Tasmania. And I have a VA who did that for me through Sales Navigator. And I thought that it would take a couple of weeks. About 3 days later, she said, I'm done, finished.
What? Really?
Have you got any more people for me to connect to? And because I obviously was targeting certain people. But but everyone's really friendly.
Oh yeah.
Welcome.
When the LinkedIn usage goes down, the friendliness goes up.
Yeah. So everyone's very excited that there was a new person in Tasmania doing business. So from that perspective, it was great for me to connect with some people.
Yeah, sure.
But,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think, even in Perth, we've had a couple of 4-day lockdowns and stuff, but I'm very, even though I don't watch TV, I'm very aware that, the rest of the world are still pretty much in the midst of this crisis. And a lot of teams are working from home, particularly in the US and stuff. And there's a lot of sales guys and there's a lot of customer facing professionals that all of a sudden haven't been able to rely on their traditional forms of selling or connecting with customers, and they've been forced to either learn how to prospect on social media or do these Zoom meetings, and they would have soon learned that the novelty of not wearing pants to meetings wears off after a few weeks, and these meetings they unless you adapt your style, they're not as effective as getting the results. So people, I think, recognize the need. LinkedIn certainly have. They've invested a lot in their whole virtual sales education and their platform. I have seen more changes in the last year. I've seen more changes in the last few months than I've ever seen on the platform.
Wow.
But they're really exciting changes, they're taking all these things which I kind of was talking about, that were going to happen. I said, they'll limit the number of connection requests that you can send, and I can see them, evolving company pages and making the ad platform better and things like that. They all seem to be just happening all at once. And so there's a lot of challenges for people to overcome, but with that there's just huge amounts of opportunity. So I'm busier than ever at the moment. I mean, in lockdown, at first few months, I lost it took a few months. There was a few months lag, and then I lost like half my client base. But I don't know, I just replaced them. Like, I guess, this, it just affects some businesses, and didn't others. They were just new needs. But like, what I'm most excited about at the moment is LinkedIn events.
Yes, I keep getting all these requests for LinkedIn events. So tell me about that, because I sometimes I think it's a connection request and I just accept it. And then I start getting all of these emails saying, oh, you've signed up to this event. I'm like, what event? So what's the go? What's the go?
Well, I mean, like, if you're on Facebook and you want to go to watch DJ Tiesto play, like, the event platform works really well for that kind of stuff, because it's where people hang out socially. But like the business events, they're not really hanging out on Facebook to look for business events. But so LinkedIn's perfect. So perfect. And Eventbrite's probably the market leader, I would imagine. And they're just going to rip Eventbrite to shreds, because they got you can access your whole network at your fingertips. At the moment, you can send 1,000 invites to an event per week. And when I say 1,000 invites to an event, it doesn't have to be your event. Anyone that is invited to an event can invite 1,000 people.
Wow.
So yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of invites come through for people all of a sudden scrambling, trying to figure out how to do webinars and stuff. And it integrates with LinkedIn Live, but also Zoom and all the other ones. They made it really easy to integrate. As soon as they get payment gateway, as soon as they get a payment functionality within LinkedIn events, it'll overtake Eventbrite and Facebook events. It's a really big move for LinkedIn. Like having, if they have all the events on the internet on their website, it's going to give them a huge competitive edge. Yeah,
I love it, because not last year but the year before, I did a whole process of doing a lot of events like in person. This was before COVID, and we would invite people. I had a VA that would invite people via LinkedIn. We'd send them individual emails, and we had enormous success. Sometimes we had 100 people signed up, and maybe 60 would show up. But we got a lot of new clients using that strategy. And then it kind of felt like there was event fatigue, where everyone was doing it, and then people got over it. And then during COVID, we did a little bit of it using webinars, but I wasn't aware that now it's that seamless that you can actually invite 1,000 people. Because I was thinking about doing it down here in Tassie, because obviously I want to grow my business down in Tasmania, and Hobart and Launceston are the kind of two cities.
Well,
so I was thinking
is there 1,000 people on LinkedIn in Tasmania?
Don't know. Maybe.
There must be.
There has to be. I mean, I target I've niched, and I know exactly who my target client is. So there's probably not 1,000 of them that are on LinkedIn.
You'll be able to. Yeah, I understand. But so this is the game changer, because LinkedIn events, like, it was pretty powerful for inviting like a lot of people before, but there was always like another step. Like you had to get them. Like they just said yes, I'll come, but you don't have their contact details. Whereas now you can set it up so that they put in their email address, and that way it sends them reminders. LinkedIn does it automatically, but if you wanted to also send them from your database and send a follow up, like, you totally can. And I was like so excited about all this stuff happening on LinkedIn events, and then then they come out, like, this has all happened within a week, and then they come out and say, okay, now you can sponsor LinkedIn event posts. So I'm like, oh wow, so you can like push it out to your via a LinkedIn ad. And so I tried doing that, but look, like, what's interesting is like the conversion rate when they get to the event page is like 40%. Well, it was for the event I tried it with, because the easier you make it for people to register, the more people that will. Like, it was easy to register before, but they weren't really registering. They had to do another step. Whereas now they're actually filling in a form. So the chances of them attending, like, you get a much higher show rate. So it's good. Like, I'm, it's very relatively new. Last few weeks, I've just been like doing event up, just working it all out. Like virtual events, it works extremely well. I don't know about in person, how well the in-person events will work, because like I said, there's no payment gateway, and also they've actually got to get off their ass and go. So I don't know, like, if it's just a notification that comes through in their email and on LinkedIn, it's very easy for them to hop on. So anyways, it's exciting times. There's a lot of other things going on as well. A lot of other changes. The usage, so session time has gone up. Like there are more people spending more time on there. But you can only connect with 100 people a week now. It doesn't matter if you've got a premium account. So
really?
like,
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like there's so much crap in people's inboxes. You know, we did some testing recently for scripts. Like we do this periodically. Like what kind of scripts work the best when you're sending connection requests? And like since the start of us doing that, the worst conversion rate would be the generic connection request, right?
Yes, yeah,
where you don't write anything. It was one of the best performing conversion rates out of all of the different variations we tested this time. And so this is because like so many salespeople automating these like sales scripts that people are actually perceiving the generic connection request as more authentic.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it'll last, like, especially with the 100 invitations. So I think people are being forced to be more targeted and not just do this scattergun stuff. Yeah. So I think it's really good for the platform. And as always, there's loads of hacks around it. Like you can, import email addresses, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So what about, they brought out, and we're seeing this with a lot of the online platforms now. It's like Instagram seems to copy TikTok, LinkedIn, they brought out the stories functionality. What's been the take up with that? Because did that really work or?
So with the mobile device, my thumb is, I tried to make myself a sandwich, go figure.
Wow, so, chop your thumb.
Yeah, olive. So on your telephone, this is the top left hand corner is the highest the best place to put something if you want people to pay attention to it for conversions, right? And so with Instagram, that's where the stories are, but that's where you view stories, right?
Yep.
When LinkedIn created their LinkedIn stories, they made that to post stories, and so. I think that the reason that it didn't take off is because they prioritized creation, but you need consumption first. Like they got it the wrong way around. Like if no one's looking at it, no one's going to create. I actually haven't got stories on my phone anymore, so I don't know if they've removed it or what.
Yeah, I was thinking I haven't seen it when I've been on there. Maybe they got rid of it, but it's interesting, isn't it? They're all
it'll come back. Like they're just going to get better. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all just copying each other and doing very similar things. And, now Instagram have got these reels that they're doing and what's on the horizon for LinkedIn? What are LinkedIn? I mean, because, if you think about the history of LinkedIn and what it started off as, it was kind of about, people thought it was about recruitment and putting your resume online. And it's now evolved to be so much more than that. Are people still using it for recruitment?
Oh yeah, they have to. I mean, like I say, Microsoft is running the show now, right? So Microsoft is thinking about all of their products, and the reason that they have these this email app and the Word and the PowerPoint, it's so they all talk to each other and they can get so they create these barriers to entry. So they'd be thinking of LinkedIn exactly the same way. And even though they're allowing other apps to integrate now, there'll become a point where it's like if you want a CRM, you're not going to go anywhere else other than Microsoft because it can get all of the data from LinkedIn for you, and I think that's the way they're thinking about it. And so they're creating this ecosystem, this huge ecosystem of professionals. And they're also creating a clubhouse, an audio, this is pretty, I mean, I think that's a great idea because they've obviously done some research because the business guys are on there on the clubhouse. I don't use it, but,
I tried to get into it, but I was like, I just can't, I couldn't get.
I mean, the people are making a lot of money on there. Grant Cardone raised $7.2 million in 2 hours on there. Jesus. Crowdfunding.
Wow.
Yeah. On an audio platform. That's awesome. I mean, he's yeah, he gets like, you know, celebrities to pop in and like
He does.
buy and stuff, and but yeah, it's amazing. And so I don't know, like I think Facebook's I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. Like Mark Zuckerberg must be under a lot of pressure or something, because they seem to be going in the wrong direction, from what I can tell. But anyway, LinkedIn's still given. I think that the organic reach is just as strong. I hit a lot of people telling me that the organic reach has dropped, but I mean, I don't know what they're basing this data on. Like, it may have just dropped for them. Like, it may just be that they're not being able to hack the algorithm as well. Like, it should be difficult to do, but I think that we're seeing. When I look at the news feed, I see just as many organic posts as I do sponsored posts. So
yeah,
but I think what we're gonna see happen is either we'll be able to sponsor content through a personal profile, or they'll create a version of the company page which is like a professional personal page, business page or something for an individual. Because I mean, as soon as they allow individuals to boost their content, like, I think they're just going to make a fortune.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's it's interesting. And so, what do you think is on the horizon? Like, what's going to be the next big thing with LinkedIn?
Well, lead generation, like the messaging and stuff at the moment, like, I mean, it's not the same as it was. It's very competitive. Like, I think you can do it, but you've got to have a brand. Like, it's not. I don't think you can just set up a profile and start messaging people and set appointments like you used to be able to.
Yeah.
It's become imperative to have that relationship with the people you're reaching out to and build a brand. So I think a lot of businesses that weren't taking content marketing seriously at all are now starting to, to get their story out there, and they're just learning. They're learning because they're just starting it to do it. They're learning that it's a big investment. But like, well, if your company is sat at home and your prospects are sat at home, like you've got to communicate with your audience, and everyone's out of options.
That's it. Do you think that it's ever going to get to the point where LinkedIn will charge you an annual fee to have a profile, or do you think they're going to try and monetize it in that way?
No, like I just think that their features will just get better and better, and you'll just be paying for, more functionality. Like, that 100 invitations a week, I wouldn't be surprised if you'll be able to pay to do more. Like, why wouldn't you be able to? There'll be all sorts of things like that they'll introduce. Well, that's what I love about these social media platforms, is they're always coming up with new stuff, so it's always getting better. So like, how it is now is just going to be different. I think LinkedIn groups, like, I reckon, at some point, 4 months time, 5 months time, they'll update LinkedIn groups and they'll just be amazing. Like, that's the sort of things that I'm seeing going on. So it's an exciting time to be on the platform. But with that messaging stuff, like, it's you can still generate leads with your network that you've built, like when you've got this network, but it's become more of a like conversational style of messaging. Like, before it was like kind of like a short email script that we would write, whereas now it's more of a chat. Like, it's people don't want that automation stuff. Like, they really don't. Like, and there's so much of it going on. Like, you got to stand out by being personalized, and I think that it's worthwhile doing it if you focus on the high value clients. Yeah, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just going for the big fish, big fish in a small pond. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, in the past, my business has definitely generated leads and income from LinkedIn, through direct messaging, inviting them to events, building that relationship, doing lots of content so people know, trust you, all that stuff that you talk about. It definitely works, but it's
hard work, isn't it?
It's consistency, and honestly, I feel like I have after doing that for 2 years straight, I had like LinkedIn fatigue.
Yeah. How do you think I feel?
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, I'm just I was really struggling to be motivated and have energy around it. And I think a lot of people feel like that. So what would be your advice? to them, because you can't outsource it. You can't outsource the shoot to someone else in that.
Come on. Richard Branson does a blog post every day and he's dyslexic. So,
True.
It's about having a process. It is about having a process. There's no reason, like, you can batch create content. You could definitely do it. And that's the way to take that fatigue out of it, because it's all sort of scheduled in advance, and you can you have a schedule for it to be distributed. You can do it yourself, but it's very, very easy when you get a notification in your calendar. Oh, you've got to post it. There's the caption. There's the video, and you just plug it in. But that's really what I've been focusing on developing is just that process. It's like, so if I'm creating content for a client, we get them in an interview, and I interview them with questions that I know will create engaging content for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I send it off to the video production team. They create 50 videos. The graphic designer creates 20 images. The copywriter writes 70 captions, and then next week they get a content calendar with the next 4 months of content.
Wow, where do I sign up for that? That sounds pretty cool.
Well, we could do it that way. It's got a credit card. would you like Visa or MasterCard?
Yeah. No, it's funny though, because I have tried to outsource it before. Yeah. And it just never, I don't know. I'm doing a copywriting course at the moment. And, their philosophy is that you shouldn't outsource your copywriting, because you're the only person who can truly understand the essence of your brand and all of this kind of stuff. It's just like, my brain hurts, because I want to outsource it, but then I don't know. I'm not alone. I hear this all the time from business owners. So
of course, I understand. I completely understand. But there's only so many ways that you can create content, and you don't want it to be too, like, the whole reason that no one can do your style is you want it to be consistent, like the same voice. Yeah. And so you can create a manual for that, like how each post should be, like how you should structure them. What language that you use, it like a branding, sort of similar to a branding document, and then you just have swipe files with templates with interchangeable parts to them, and it doesn't seem like it's possible, but once you start doing it, then you actually start to you learn so much more, because you've got a defined template. You actually know which ones work the best, and then you can optimize them. And I don't have all this stuff done yet, by the way. I'm working on it, but we've got the video stuff for clients, and that's amazing, because I've been able to take a company that's, first of all, not been in front of a camera ever, never been on social media. And we see their posts going up, and they're getting 4,000 views and 50, 60 comments. Everyone's stoked to hear their story. And I was like, yes, we've nailed it, because we've created high value content that's personal, for the showing the individual behind the brand, and engaging the most engaging format possible. And it works out to be about $100 a video when you work it all out. We create so many videos from that one interview. There's no video production company in Australia maybe there is, but I've dealt with at least 60 of them, and that would do a video for less than, I don't know, the cheapest you probably find is $1,500. To be able to do them at a level where they're going to get engagement for $100 each is epic. It's so good.
All right, well, sign me up. I'm sold.
Okay. I'm serious. What's your
No, I'm serious too. Oh my God, my dog is barking. I'm sorry. Where's Marshall?
He's locked in the bedroom.
Oh, he's locked in the bedroom. Yeah, you should have done that. That's my dog Zombie. I don't know if you remember Zombie. So
I do. So do these comments normally come through from LinkedIn, or?
I have.
Are you relatively new to LinkedIn Live, or?
I am in. Normally, I get the comments from Facebook, but not LinkedIn. In StreamYard.
Yeah. Interesting.
Can you see comments on LinkedIn right now?
So the only way I can have a look is if I play the video, because the comments don't show up.
Anyway, we can go back and answer the comments. But I guess if people want. Yeah. people want to work with you, I think that a lot of people think that, you know, you only work with big wigs.
No, no.
Yeah,
it's not
like
true.
you know, you're so famous now that people are like, oh, I couldn't afford to work with Nathaniel Bibby. He's like the Richard Branson of LinkedIn, man. So do you work?
Man, yeah, I've got so used to this, you know, jab hook thing that I forget a lot of the time to ask for business. But I mean, you know, at that price range, it would suit like small businesses. Yes, of course, it's an investment, but I mean, there's no way in any shape or form, no matter which way you did it, Airtasker, whatever, that you could create professional videos for that price.
No.
So yeah, it's suitable. It's suitable for all, and I think you're exactly right. Like you're exactly right. Like a lot of business owners, when they come to events and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, he's dealing with Apple, Westpac, he's not going to deal with me, and they don't approach me. So yeah, no, I think that the product that we have is suitable for small businesses, and I think that they need to do it because, like, their personal brand is their competitive edge. Like if you want to go head to head with like the biggest companies, like if you're, you know, financial services and you're competing with the banks, sharing your story and sharing your personal brand is your point of difference.
100%. Because I mean, we know now that people don't buy what you do; they buy why you do it, and boom, boom. They want to connect with you, and they want to feel like that you understand them, and that whatever you're offering, it's special and unique, and they only get that. Yeah. So
people like they make buying decisions on emotion.
People do work with you. What?
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's, you know, this is what I'm learning about in this copywriting course, is about power words and really tapping into what is the emotion that the customer feels when they're coming to you, and then what do they want to feel as a result. And I know you did a video about this in like the neuroscience of buying behaviour. It's fascinating. I actually studied marketing at uni. I did a double degree, and I now work in HR, but I did do marketing. And funnily enough, I failed consumer behaviour. I thought it was really boring, but now I'm like, that could have been useful. But
well, it's a bit out of date. Yeah.
Probably, you know, it's 20 years ago. So if people do want to work with you, what's the best way to find you and connect with you and have a chat about your services and whether you could help them?
Yeah, thanks for asking that, by the way. I love that little setup. So, like, if you send me an inquiry, whether you do it through LinkedIn or through my website or through Instagram, I've got a new website up, nathanielbibby.com. There's a wicked online course on there called LinkedIn Insider 2.0. That's awesome. But if you contact me on any of these platforms and say you're interested, all I'm going to do is send you a booking link to book in for a 15-minute call. And I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and then I'll suggest what we should do to get the outcomes that you want. I mean, the way that I operate, and maybe this is why I come across as somebody that, you know, doesn't work with everyone, is you know, I only will work with businesses which I'm confident that I'll be able to get the result for. I mean, I just think it's good for my reputation, and they'll stick around longer. So, you know, I work out what their outcome is, and then I suggest what we should do. You know, from there. But yeah, I think that I call it behind the brand, that process where we create all that content, and then we have a service where we distribute it for them as well. But I mean, sometimes small businesses would just want to create it. But this is what's epic about it, because Gary Vee does this, right? Like when you post those 50 videos, right? When you finish posting them all, you look at all of the stats, and you, after that process, you will know what content your audience is interested in.
Yeah.
Little Gary Vee does, right? Like he talks about bloody not caring about what other people think, like all the time, and he never started out doing that stuff. It's just literally because he can't deny the audience insights. They want to know about that sort of stuff and taking action and all that sort of stuff. And so we learn, you know, the clients are learning from me, from my experience, but at the same time they're learning from their audience, which is like so valuable, because most businesses have no idea what content does the best and why, what their audience is interested in. They literally just have no idea. Like they've created their content pillars in their boardroom on their own, and they've stuck with them ever since. They haven't really shifted them at all based on measuring what the audience is interested in. So yeah, I think it's huge. I got it from Gary Vee. I can't take credit, but he's doing a much higher volume. Yeah,
it is about testing and measuring, and a lot of people don't do that. They just throw the content out there, and I'm guilty of that. I mean, I obviously know, looking back organically, at what content worked and what didn't based on how many views you get and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think people analyze it and really delve into it enough and think about, well, why did that content hit a nerve? What is it? Yeah. What's the emotion that people felt when they saw that content, and why did it resonate with them? And is it resonating with my ideal client, or am I just talking to the masses and it's not really?
Yes.
It's not really having an impact. No one actually gives a shit. No one's going to buy anything from me, but okay, people like it. But so what?
Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad you said that. That's awesome. Yeah, spot on. So there's a couple of things there. Like, one is we're creating batch creating content. You're creating a pillar piece of content, a longer form piece of content, rather than lots of little pieces. Yeah. So that you create lots at once. So it's more of it's just a much smarter process, and it makes sure that you stay in line with your brand and you talk about the same things, because you have to keep repeating yourself. If you keep talking about different stuff all the time, people are just going to get confused. And so you need to repeat yourself. And the other thing I was going to say was, what was the other thing I was going to say? I forgot it now. So it's creating the I've lost it. What is it? What was we? Oh, I've gone lost.
I can't even remember what we're talking about. About like your ideal, something about your ideal client, or.
This is true. Yeah. So you got I guess, I don't know if this is where I was going, but you do need to get feedback from your customers about what they like, what they don't like. If they're not engaging, just to call them up. But like, the best post that I've ever done didn't get the most likes and comments. You have to understand that the best posts aren't the ones that get all the engagement, because if they're getting all the engagement, that means they're dealing with the awareness stage of the customer journey, right? So the best posts are the ones that I got 50 private messages off the back of, and there was no call to action, Like when I've gone to a client, congratulations to this client, they've just raised $1 million for their startup in 6 weeks. I'm so pleased that I could be a part of it. Well done. And then I get all these businesses message me that want to raise money, going, can you help us?
Yes. So you're not even telling that, you're not even selling anything, or it's about, and this is what I'm learning about in this copywriting course is, not everybody is ready to buy, and not everybody knows what they want. So there's like 3 different stages of the consumer behavior or the buying journey. And sometimes they don't even know what they don't know. So your post is making them go, oh shit, yeah, actually I need that, or that's me. Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I don't even talk about me or them. I did it in it, like, and the interesting thing is that startup that raised that $1 million in 6 weeks didn't even think to post about it. They didn't even think about that.
Yes.
So I was involved in it. I didn't raise all the money, but I was a part of it. It would have been good for their brand. They got published in the newspaper as a result of that post.
Wow.
So it's a win-win,
There we go.
But like, I reckon everyone should make content to big up other people that are doing well. Like, so many people see people in their industry or even their clients doing well, and they're like, jealous or like envy. But like, if you do that, you're going to resent success, and then you're going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Absolutely. There's definitely enough room for everybody. There's enough business for everybody. People need to, it's really interesting. As I said, I've moved to St. Helens, which is a tiny little community in Tasmania. And what I've noticed is all the businesses here think that they're competing against each other and there's no collaboration. So I'm trying to get like businesses to actually start realizing, hey guys, your competition is not each other. Your competition is other regions of Tasmania. They're who you're competing with. So you need to work together. You need to collaborate. You need to lift each other up, and then the whole area will benefit. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, I mean,
people
competition like can be healthy if it's like if it's driving you to make your shit better. But like if you're just trying to pull other people down, like I don't think it's gonna. Like I when I see a LinkedIn content creator do well, like I'm like pumped for them. Like I think it makes me go back to work. I'm like, okay, I gotta get back to work because you know, like you gotta be while you're not working. It's naive to think that there's people in your industry that aren't working, and they'll take your spot, you know, real quick if they want it bad enough. So I mean, you know, so there's good competition, bad competition. There's no reason why you can't collaborate with your competitors. But like if you're in a place of scarcity, you'll be like, oh, I want to keep my connections private, and I don't want them to know all my secrets, and I don't want them coming to my LinkedIn event. You know, and I when I hear that shit, I'm just like, you need to make your business better, like so you're more confident. Like you know, you got to get to the point where you're like, contact all my clients. You're more than welcome to. Like I'm confident enough in what I deliver that they're not going to go anywhere. And if they do, then they're not the right people for me. If you can't get to that point, yeah.
That's the other thing is that sometimes the clients are not the right fit for you, and that's okay. It's just that they're not the right fit, and there needs to be a values alignment. And sometimes they might be better going to, you know, Joe Blogs down the road because they're on the same page. So yeah, I think it's a mindset and an awareness thing to realize that not every client is for you. I went through a process a couple of years ago where we culled a number of clients.
Yes. Wow.
And it was the most cathartic experience and exercise. And these clients just weren't a values fit. We work in HR and they're the clients that want to underpay people and treat people badly and never want to pay their bill. They don't want to invest in their people and they don't want to do development. And it's just all about, can you keep me out of court and can you get rid of this person? And it was just not a good match. And there's heaps of HR consulting firms that love doing that shit. And I referred those clients, I gave them to another consulting firm, and I set up a referral fee. So that went on for 5 years, or was going on for 5 years. So you know, it was a great process, and then now we know exactly the kind of clients that we want. But I think that, you know, I've been in business for 11 years, and it took a long time to get the confidence to do that, because it's like, oh my God, that's money. Oh, you have these feelings like, oh my God, what am I doing? But it was the best thing we ever did. Yeah,
if you want to be the best at something, or you want to deliver a really high standard service, like if you really care about like your clients, right? If you really care about them, you have to retain the power in the relationship, because unless they do it exactly how you need it to be done, you can't do your job properly, and you're not going to be able to deliver the standard of service that you want to. So even though it seems like you want to say yes to everything they're requesting, you're only hurting them by doing it. Like you've got to say no to them in order to be the best, and it's hard sometimes when you need sales, but in the long run, like you'll be the best service provider, because all your competition will be going, oh yeah, you can pay late, oh yeah, you know, it doesn't matter if you don't follow up the leads, oh yeah, like, you know, yes we can do go outside of our process for you, and then create all these problems that we didn't anticipate because it's not a part of our process. Like all these things are really important, you know. You got to say no to clients consistently, because it's in our human nature to try and get power. Like they're always going to try and do it. You've got to make it very clear that that's not the way you work.
I love it. Well, there's been some amazing insights for me personally there, once again, or as always. So thank you very much for being on the show again. And if people want to reach out to you, they now know that they don't have to be a bigwig, that you work with small businesses too, which I think is a great message.
Yeah, like I don't work for free, but you know, like
no, of course.
No, but I'm not expensive. Like I'm not expensive. It's just, you'll be surprised. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, give Nathaniel a call, and thanks once again. And I hope you have an awesome week in WA.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and everybody tuned in. I'm sure there's some comments there on LinkedIn. I hope you got some value.
Awesome. We'll respond to the comments later. I'll try and respond to the ones that I can. And if I can't answer something because I'm not the LinkedIn guru, I'll leave it to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for listening.